let's just say freeform, free jazz kind of view of what we've got brought for you today. But I'll kick off. My name's Justin. I'm from Metro Modular, which is sort of basically me. I'm in Sydney, and what I do is I design synth modules and also build them. And with this, this is the first time I'm actually going to be offering stuff in kit form for people. So I'll start off by introducing this. My sidekick, rather reluctant sidekick, took a little bit of coaxing to come out of the dressing room and actually turn on. But this is a Buchla modular. For anyone who hasn't heard, Buchla is sort of one of the byways of synthesizer history. It's actually been continuously available as a format since 1961 or 64, depending on when you look at it. Sort of does things its own way, little bit differently to the Moog designs that we've all gotten to know and love very much, but we sort of, someone mentioned earlier that they hadn't sort of played a synth before. The ethos of this system really was that it plays you as much as you play it, and that it sort of makes self-generating patches. You're not tied into keyboard controllers. You can use alternate controllers. It pioneered the use of electronic touch plates rather than actually a conventional keyboard. And so what's happened is that a lot of the really, really old designs are quite unique, and they're also quite easy to build. So what some people do is that they offer, in the Buchla world, when people say a kit, it doesn't mean everything you need to build it. It basically means a circuit board and the panel and the essentials of what you need to get started. I'm going to be offering, and pretty much launching here today, affordable DIY, basically panel and PCB sets so that people can actually get into the format. It looks a little bit forbidding, but it's actually the foundation of a lot of Eurorack and a lot of things like, say, for example, the Arturia Microfreak owes a big debt to this school of synthesis. So pretty much, again, I'll mention some of the modules I've got available that I'm going to be making available, and it's going to be a little bit of a quiz at the end. Who here is into DIYing synths? Who builds their own? Has ever built them? Okay, no worries. Well, it's a pretty select group, so it's good. So look, if you're interested, keep your ears open, because there's going to be a little bit of a question at the end, and whoever gets it will get a circuit board and panel set worth a bit over $100. So, so what I'm going to do is just talk you through three of the things I've got available today. So, in this system, like any synth system, you've got a tone generation source like the oscillators. There's a very old Buchla design in this particular system, but the heart of it, and something that's been imitated a lot in Eurorack and even in some standalone synths, is what's called the low pass gate. And I'll just see if we can actually get a sound out of it. Won't be a tick. Sorry, man. Yep, no worries. I'm getting signal out of both of those, so I'll just make sure I'm not on mute. Okay, there we go. Thanks for that. Cheers. Yep, we've got a signal. I'll just... Okay, so what we've got at the moment is just running a very simple sequence through basically through a step sequencer, and these things which are called function generators, which are the equivalent of envelopes. So this little beastie, if you know Eurorack, you might know about the quad multimode gate, which is a very famous module from Make Noise in Portland, and basically this is what the quad multimode gate emulated. So what we're going to do is just turn this up a bit, make sure we've got the... Okay, Right, so this is okay. Just make sure I've got the right output jack. Sorry about this. Yep, okay. Okay. So this module gives you, it differs from a normal VCA, and you've got three ways of actually operating it. You can actually do it as a low pass filter or as a VCA or a little bit in between both. So I'll just try sweeping it in low pass mode and also give it a bit more of harmonic interest from this thing. Now, what we're going to do, sorry about this, actually, wrong one. Okay, more like it. So it gives the system a bit like the modal. It's really more an additive system than a subtractive system. So you have a bit of basic tone shaping for the decay, but a lot of the magic happens in the oscillator. So traditionally, DIY has actually not been that accessible, but this actual module, I'm going to be offering a circuit board which has got 84 components on it, basically pre-soldered in a factory, and you just add the switches, the jacks, and the hardware and the panels provided, and that'll be round about the $100 mark. So, which will actually be, there's a bill of materials available, the parts are readily accessible from various suppliers. The other one that we're supplying is, I'll just turn this down and turn the next one up. The other thing that the system does, it does filtering a little bit differently. Rather than voltage controlled filters, there's a lot of use of filter banks. In this case, there's a little Buchla 294 filter bank module which basically splits frequencies into 4 bands, and it sounds okay. You'd think that's just an equalizer, but the thing is, what you can do is you can take, say for example, a loop, and you can split the various frequency ranges and send them to different locations, like say filter them individually, put them through LFO modulation individually, and I've just got our old friend the drum machine here, so just going to see if we can get this up and running. Okay, that's probably okay. Very generic patch from our friend the DR110, but what's happening is that we're actually taking the audio output from a little filter bank, so not only can you equalize it, but you can send the splits into 4 bands. You can send each one of those to a separate destination, and in this case what you can do is send it into the other module that we're also going to be doing as a kit, which is a triple envelope follower. So what you can do with that is it can actually follow, say for example, the contour of a particular part of your drum loop. So for example, if you're isolating the very high frequencies which you'd associate with your hi-hats, or the very low frequencies which you might associate with the kick. And so what it does, goes into this module, and if you can see here, it sends out a trigger pulse, and you could then use that to actually re-synthesize your drum loops by actually, say for example, using noise sources and using other oscillators. So that's a pretty cool little module. That one, both of those we're selling. The little 294 filter. That'll be totally DIY, through hole, so you don't have to worry about something with surface mount parts on the board. That'll probably be about $50 for the PCB and front panel set, and also the envelope follower. That'll be that has 117 parts pre-soldered onto the boards, and again that'll be a pretty straightforward build. That'll just be a circuit board set like the other ones. So yeah, that's just an introduction to what we're going to be selling. So probably is easier if you have any questions, come and have a bit of a look. But lucky quiz for anyone who's interested in DIYing and wants to build the low pass gate. We've got a board set. How many surface mount parts are pre-soldered onto that? Anyone want to hazard a guess? You've won a DIY set. Okay, no worries. Look, thanks for that. This is my apologies. This is very ad hoc, but yeah, please come around and ask any questions if you have a look, and grab a postcard. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
No worries.
Yeah, please go up and ask questions. Have a look.